Everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be looking at how we are going to be answering dihybrid crosses. Now we are at the end of this video. We are going to solve all these questions and you are not going to have any challenge concerning that. So now we cannot discuss solving Mendel's solving this without looking at Mendel's second law and his first law. So his first law is known as the law of segregation. Segregate simply means to separate. So the law of segregation states that during gamete formation, alleles separate or segregate so that each gamete only contains one allele for a gene. So just as we have said, during gamete formation, alleles separate or segregate so that each gamete only contains one allele for a gene. Now, for example, what we mean by this is that let's say we have a trait such as height. Let's say someone or the garden peas are tall, like that. We might have two letters T and a small letter t. Now, for you to form gametes, so gametes have got half the number of chromosomes, meaning to say these alleles have to segregate or separate. So during gamete formation, alleles separate so that each gamete only contains one allele for a gene, like that. So this is basically what Mendel's first law talks about. When we look at Mendel's second law, it talks about, now Mendel's first law is involving what we call monohybrid crosses, where we are only involved with one characteristic. However, when we are looking at Mendel's second law, his second law, which is also known as independent assortment. So independent assortment simply states that during gamete formation, which is still the same, during gamete formation, so during gamete formation, the segregation, which is the separation of alleles of one allele-like pair. So remember, alleles will occur in pair, like for example how we had our T and our T, like that. Then we have one allele-like pair is independent of the segregation of the alleles of other genes. Or in other words, we are simply talking about gametes assort independently. Now what we mean by this is that if you are looking at, let's say for height, like that, the height, then you have the skin color, black and brown, like that. So the possibility of someone being tall and black, let's say tall and black, is independent with the ability of someone being tall and brown. Likewise, someone can be short and black. At the same time, someone can be short and brown, like that. So this is basically what Mendel's second law is all about. So now, if you look at this, during gamete formation, the segregation, remember, this is independent. So the segregation, which is the separation of alleles of one allele-like pair, so they occur in pairs, is independent of the segregation, meaning to say they are totally independent. There is a possibility that someone might be tall and black, someone might be tall and brown, and all that is independent of the segregation of the alleles of the other genes that gametes assort independently. So with that said, we are now going to answer questions dealing with that. So we have this question: demonstrate how Mendel came up with the 9 to 3 to 3 to 3 or 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 genetic ratio during his dihybrid cross between the round green peas, which is this, and the wrinkled yellow peas. So now, how did he come up with this? So what do we have? We have R and R, then we have our G and our G, like that. Then we have our r, small r, g, and small g, like that. So now, in order for us to answer this question is to understand something. For you to have a phenotypic ratio, which is a genetic ratio, which is a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1, you will need to cross, you always need to cross two heterozygous, meaning to say it should contain, like for example, if you have your r, it should be looking like this: r, small r, g, small g. This is, if you cross this with itself, this is the only way you can get the phenotypic ratio, which is a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1, like that. So with that said, what are we going to do? So we are going to look at one thing that we are first going to, what he did was he crossed these. So he crossed these, meaning to say he lets them pollinate like that. So he lets them cross pollinate like that. So now by doing so, what was the result? So this is how we shuffle the genes. This one goes with that one, then this one goes with that, but we are not going to memorize that. So therefore we are going to be using the Punnett square, in which case we are going to put our r here, our r here, then down here we are going to have our g and our g. This is for the other plant. So what we have are the combinations of r, g. We have our r, g, like that. Here we have our r and our g. Here we have our r and our g. So these are the combinations. So doing the same, so this is our 4 Punnett square there. So we have our 4 Punnett square. We are going to do the same for this other one. Then from there, what we are going to have is for this other one, we are going to do the same. We are going to shuffle the genes by using the other Punnett square, which shall look like something like this. So we are going to do the same. So what do we have? We have this. Then we are going to put our 2 r's in this column. So we have r. Then here we are going to have our 2 g's, like that. Then combine them, then combine them like that. So this is the outcome that we have. So with that outcome, what we are going to do is that we are going now to combine these. So we have to know the outcome for this one. So the outcome for this one is such that we are going to get something like this. So we have our, from here we can now come up with a 16 Punnett square, which will look like this. So from there we are going to put our outcomes. So we have our RG, we have our RG, we have our RG, we are just getting this. We have our RG there, we have our RG, 4 of them. Then here also we have our RG, which will be put on the sides. So we have our RG there, we have our RG, we also have RG there. Then from here we are just going to combine. So we have RR, so you combine RR, G, small g, you have your R, small r, G, R, small r, G, like that. R, small r, you have your G and your G, like that. Then you are going to combine again. So this R and this R, so we have your R, G. Now for this one, you can verify that the outcome will just be the same because of the genes that are present, like that. So this is what we have: R, G, Now, if you have this type of an outcome, now you can now be able to get your 9 to 3 to 3. Remember what I said? 9 to 3 to 3 can only be gotten if you are using a heterozygous, meaning to say if you have something that is looking like this, then you cross it with itself. That is the only way you are able to get the 9 to 3 to 3. So therefore, from there, you can pick out to say, you can identify that the common thing after crossing these two was R, small r, G, small g. Then from here, he lets them self-pollinate. So by self-pollinate, meaning to say he let itself fertilize itself, meaning to say even the genes that were gotten, it is itself, therefore it crossed, so he let them cross-pollinate, self-pollinate, meaning to say with the same genes itself, it fertilize itself, therefore it shall look like something like this. So from this you are now able to get a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. So let's show it. So there we are going to have the same thing. Let's come up with a 4-Punnett square to shuffle the genes. So we are going to have, so whenever we are looking at two genes, we are looking at dihybrid crosses because we are dealing with two traits. So we have big R, small r, then we have our G and our small g, like that. So we have our G combining with R, we have our G, let's begin with R preferably, we have our RG, we have our R big G, we have our R small g, we have our R small g, like that. So you can just do one there since they are exactly the same there. So you can just do one there. Therefore, then fuse them. So how do you fuse them? You are now going to come up with the 16-Punnett square there. So by our 16-Punnett square, we are going to take our RG. So we are going to put our RG here. Then we have our R small g. We are here now. We have our R. We can even write them RG, RG, RG. Then we have our RG. So we haven't shuffled for the other parent because we are still going to get exactly the same because these two are exactly the same. So we are going to have our RG, then we are here, R big G, R small g, like that. So we are going to put this, and also on this side we are going to have the same thing, which is something like this. We have our RG, we have our R big G, we have our R small g, like that. Then we are going to have our R, so we are combining R, R, G, G, R, R, G, G. We have our R, small r, G, G, so we are just combining. So we have our R, R, G, G, like that. Then we have our R, R, combine, you have your G, G, like that, R, R, G, small g, we have our R, small r, big G, small g, we have our R, small r, small g, so we are here, our R, so big R, small r, big G, so we have our big R, small r, big G, small g. Then we have our small r, we have our G, G, like that. Then we have our R, big G, small g. Then we have our R, small r, big G, small g. We have our R, small g, like that. We have our R, small r, our big G, small g. then we have our R, small g, like that. So that is how we come up with that cross. Then from here we are going to just pick the names, then put the numbers. So as we can see, we have round, wrinkled, yellow, we have green. So this is what we are going to do. So we are going to have we are going to say round. Remember, round is dominant, round and green. So for us to have round and green, we need to look for a place where we could have at least one big letter R and at least one big letter G. So at least one R and at least one big letter G. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So number 4, number 5, this is not number 6 because these are 2 small letters. So we are first looking for at least one big R, at least one big G. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we are 7, 8. Then we have 9. So these are the only places. So we are going to have our 9 there. Then we have our round and yellow. Round and yellow, we are looking for a place where we have, since green is dominant, we are looking for a place where we could have at least one big R and 2 small G's. So we can pick this number 1, number 2, number 3. So this is where we have at least one big R and 2 small G's. So we have 3 like that. Then here we are going to have our wrinkled and green. So wrinkled and green, we have the outcome will be wrinkled and green means we must look for a place where there are 2 small letters of R, and at least one big letter G, because it's green. Green has to be big letter G. So we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. So as we can see, we have 3 there. Then we have, finally, we are just remaining with 1 there. So we have our wrinkled, and yellow, shown by 2 small letters. We have 1. So we can say 9 to 3 to 3 to 1, like that. So this is how he came up with this outcome. Let's look at our next question. So we are going to look at this question at the end. Okay, so to answer the next question, we need to understand some of the things. We should know to say number 1, purple is dominant, meaning to say as long as it's there. If we have, let's say, purple and we have white, the outcome will be seen to be purple. So it is dominant. Round is dominant. For the shape, we have yellow seed color. So the seed color yellow is dominant over the green one. The color of the pod, which is the outer covering, the green one is dominant, so it always shows if they are there. Then we have the inflated, we have the constricted, like that. So we have the height, tall, we have short. Then we have the axial, we have the terminal. So terminal means it's occurring at the tips, like that. But axial can be found within the stem. So this is our axial there. It can be found within the stem, like that. Then the terminal just at the tip of the stem, like that. So now when we look at this, the terminal is recessive, meaning to say as long as the axial is there, it does not show. That is how we go about that. So let's answer the question. So if we have been told pea plants are heterozygous for flower position and stem length, are allowed to self-pollinate, and 400 of the resulting seeds are planted, then we are told throw the square for this cross, how many offsprings would be predicted to have terminal flowers and dwarfs. So remember, terminal flowers is recessive, meaning to say which ones are recessive, and dwarf is also recessive. 6 marks. So the first thing is that we have been taught that the peas are heterozygous, meaning to say they carry genes of both and are allowed to self-pollinate, meaning to say crossing this with itself. So we are going to have, so as long as we are crossing heterozygous with heterozygous, expect a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1, like that. So therefore, we are going to answer the question by doing this. So 400 of the resulting are planted. So we are going to get our B. We are going to shuffle our B, small letter B. Then we have our T, small letter T. Using the same approach we used, we are going to use our 4-Punnett square like that. Write B, small b, our T, small t, like that. Then when we do that, we are going to combine our B, T like that. This B and this T. We have our B, small t. We have our B, small t, like that. Then we are going to have something like this. So this is our 4-Punnett square. After we come up with our 4-Punnett square, we are going to write our resulting, which is our B, T, B, big T. Okay, let's begin with this one. So we have our B, small t. We have our B, big T. We have our B, small t, like that. Then when we do this, what we are going to end up with is this type of a situation where we have even if I was to do it for the other parent, it will still be the same because they are carrying the same, even if I was to draw another one. So that's why I can just do one like this again. So after doing that, let's come up with a 16-Punnett square. So we're going to put our B here, T, we are there, B, T, B, big T, B, small t, like that. Then even this side we have our B, big T. So we have our BT, BT, we have our B, small t, we have our B, big T, we have our B, small t, like that. Then here we are going to do the same. We have our big B, big B, big T, big T. So we are just using them. So this and with that, so we have B, another B. Then we have our T, small t from here. Then we are here, our B, small b, our big T, big T. This is a big T. Then here we have our B, small b. We have our big T, small t, like that. Then our B, big B, big T, small t. We have our B, big B. We have our T, small t. We have our B, small b, T, small t, like that. Then here we have our B, small b, our T, small t, like that. We have our big B, small b, T, T. We have our B, B, T, T. Combine, we have our B, B, our T, T, like that. Then we have our B, B, T, T, like that. Okay, no. Okay, so here we have a big T, so we have to write T like that. Then here we have our big B, small b, big T, small t. Combine B with a small b, T, small t, like that. Then we are here, small b, small b. This is a big T, small t. Then we are on B, B small t like that. Yeah, so this is what we have. Therefore, we just have to identify. We begin with identifying. We begin with so the opposite of terminal is axial, so we can say axial and toe. So we begin with our dominant ones, just in case they have given you that. So we have our axial and toe. So axial and toe, we will have to count. So where we see at least one big letter B and at least one big letter T. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So this is where we have at least one big letter B and at least one big letter T. 4, 5. So here we have 6, we have 7, we have 8. Here we have 8, we have 9, like that. So this is what we have. So this is where we have at least one big letter B and at least here we don't have anything like at least one big letter of each. So we are going to write our 9 like that. Then here we are going to say our axial and short at least. So we are looking for at least one big letter B, since B is for axial or terminal. So we are going to have our 1 but 2 small letters of T. Number 1, number 2, number 3, like that. So we are going to have our 3. Let's use different colors. We said this is number 1. Where's number 2? Number 1, number 2, number 3. So we have 3 here. We can now have axial is done. You use it only twice. Then here we are going to have our terminal and begin with your dominant toe like that. So axial or terminal and toe means look for a place where you can see 2 small letter B's and at least one big letter T, which is number 1, number 2, number 3 here. So we are going to have our 3 here. Then we are going to have our terminal and short. So for terminal and short, this should be equal to the 1. So it is only this one that is remaining, 1. So we are going to have a 9, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, like that. So this is our outcome. Now the question was saying that and 400 of the resulting seeds are planted. Draw the Punnett square for this cross. How many offsprings would be predicted to have terminal flowers and dwarf? So as you can see, the one for terminal and short, which is for dwarf, you can be using dwarf. I didn't see that. So you have 1. So you are going to have 1 out of, so the Punnett square, it's a 16 Punnett square, so the result is 1 out of 16. Even if you add this 1 plus 3 is 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 9 will give you 16. So we have 1 over 16. Then just multiply. So the number should be equal to the 1, whatever number, 1 over 16 times the total number. So the total number in this case is 400. We are going to divide our 4 can enter into this to remain with 4. 4 here is 1, 0, 0. Then we are going to divide 100 divided by 4 is 25. Never forget that you are not allowed to use the calculator for biology. So therefore, you're going to have this as your number. So your number of possible, what was the question saying? The draw how many offsprings would be predicted. So we have 25 offsprings like that. The next question is saying that in Mendel's pea plant crosses, some pea plants were self-pollinated. Is self-pollination considered asexual or sexual, or sexual? Explain. So the answer here is very simple. It is sexual. Why? Because there is a fusion of gametes. So we can say this is because there is a fusion of gametes, though carrying the same traits. So as long as there is the fusion of gametes, then it is sexual reproduction. So if you look at this, a pea plant, heterozygous for flower position and stem. So meaning to say, we are looking at this, are allowed to self-pollinate, and 400 of the resulting seeds are planted. So this is the same question. It is still going to give the same answer, though they just changed the letters. So self-pollinate means the same thing, B small letter B, T small letter T crossed with B small b, T, like that. So that is what we simply mean. So we are not going to answer that because we have already answered the question. Now, so even this one, we are going to just answer, where is it? We are going to answer this, which is exactly the same. If we have Mr. Soko has 3 tall brown children and 1 short dark child. However, Mr. Soko questions whether the 4th child, who is dark and short, is his. Mr. Soko and his wife are both heterozygous, like that. Then we are told, using the 16 Punnett square, show how you would help Mr. Soko understands the variations in the family. 8 marks. So the same thing applies. So what is the chance of having another child who is dark short? So we are going to have the 16 Punnett square. We have these are heterozygous, meaning to say we are going to have something like, which traits are there? We have tall. Okay, so tall brown. So let's begin with our tall brown there, or we can just interchange them, it's still okay. So we have our B small b, our T small t, like that. Then we are going to shuffle them, in which case we are going to have something like B, then small b, then this side we are going to have our T small t, like that. Then when we do this cross, we are going to have our B with this big T, B small t, we have B big T, we have our B T, like that. Therefore, when we do this, we are going to end up with this answer. They are both heterozygous, meaning to say you are crossing this and this, so there's no need for you to do the second one, the second cross. Therefore, you are going now to come up with your 16 Punnett square. So we have our outcomes, which are our B small big T, we have our B big T, B small t, B and small t, like that. Okay, let me put them in order. So we have our B BT, then we are here BT, we are here B big T, then B small t. So we are going to put them side by side. We have our B like that, B T, we have our B T, we have our B small t, like that. Then what we are going to get is the same thing here, since they are the same. So we have our BT, we have our B small t, we have our B big T, we have our small b, small t, like that. Then after that, we're just going to add them. So let's be fast. We have our b, big T, big T. We are on our b, big T, small t. We are on b, small b, big T, big T. We're going to get our b here, big B, T, small t. We have our b, T, small t. We have our b. We were not done here, so we have our b, small b, big T, small t. So here we have our b, small b, T, small t. We are here b, T, T. We are going to have our b, T, T, like that. Yeah, so we are here now. We have our b, big letter B, small b, big T, small t. We have our b, small t, big T, big T. We have our b, small t. Okay, so we have our big T, small t, like that. Then here we have our big B, small b, big T, small t. We are going to have our b, small b, our T, small t. We are going to have now, we are on small b, then we have our big T, small t. We have our b, small b, our small t, then we are just going to identify. So what shades are these? Top brown, and one is short dark. So now if 3 are top brown, it means to say the 3 that are short, that are top brown, means to say this is dominant. So we are going to say tall and brown, or since they have combined them, we can just say tall brown. So tall brown, which is just the same as tall and brown. So we have tall brown should be equal to, so we have tall brown, we have tall what color, tall black, tall dark. We can have tall dark like that. Then we can have short brown. We can have our short dark. So our top brown here is equivalent to, we are going to count where we see at least one big letter of B and at least one big letter of T. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, and number 9. So we should look for a place where you can see at least one big B and at least one big T. So we have tall and brown, we have 9. Tall and dark, on the other hand, tall and dark, we are going to have tall and dark, tall and dark. So tall and dark, at least one big letter T, but 2 small letter B's. So we have 1, 2. Then we have our number 3. So we can have a 3 there. So we have our 3, tall dark. Then our short brown, meaning to say we should have at least 2 small letters of T and at least 1 big letter B. So we are going to have, since brown is dominant, so short is 4. We have short and brown. So we have number 1, number 2, and number 3, tall and brown. So we have 3 of them. Then we have short and dark. Short and dark we're just remaining with 1. So the ratio is a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. The question was saying using a 16 Punnett square, meaning to say show how Mr. Soko that would help Mr. Soko understand the variation in the family. So there is a 1. You can say that there is a 1 out of 16% chance. Now this one, what is the chance of having another dark short child? So the percentage, the what is the chance? So the chance, which is our second part, is equal to, we are going to say 1 out of 16, like that. If you want, you can display this as a percentage by multiplying by 100%. 100 divided by that is 4, divided by 4 is 4. Then 100 divided by that is 5. So in terms of the percentage, it will be a 25/4% chance, or it is just a 1 out of 16 chance. So that is how you answer that question. So if we have this, in 2 dihybrid organisms, black color is dominant over white color, and long horns are dominant over short horns. One of the dihybrid heterozygous organism mates with a recessive pure breed organism. Carry out the cross using the Punnett square to show their resulting offspring and states their phenotypic ratio. So to answer this one, what we are going to have is this dihybrid heterozygous organism. We are going to have our big B, then we have small b. Then for white color, we are going to have white, black is dominant, so we have that, and long horns, so we have T, and short horns, small t, like that. So this is for the dihybrid heterozygous organism. Then when we are going now to identify the recessive pure breed. Recessive means it is having traits that are small letters. Then pure breed means it is having both of them. So we are going to have like small b, small t, small t. That's the meaning of recessive pure breed. It should have all of them like that. If they say recessive, dominant pure breed means big B, big T, big T. Then here we are going to shuffle them. We are going to have our B, T, and T, like that. So we have our B, T, we have our B, small t, we have our B, big T, our B, small t, like that. Then from here we are going to have something like this. We have our B, T, like that. Then we are going to get our small t, our small b, small t, small b, small t, small b, small t, small b, small t, like that. Then we are going to fuse them, beginning with this. So we are going to write, so our B, T, we have our B, small t, B, big T, B, small t, like that. So we have our BT, we have our B, small t, we have our B, big T, B, small t, like that. Even this side, so this side we have our B, small t, B, small t, we have our B, small t, then we have our b small t like that. So combined, we are going to have b small b, t small t. We are here b small b, t small t. We are here b small b, t small t. Then here we have b small b, t small t like that. B small b, t small t. We have our b small b, t small t. We have our b small b, t small t. We have our b small b, t small t. We are here b, b, t, t, t. We are here, we have our b, b, t, t. So we have our b, b, t. So t, t from this one. Then here we have our b, b, t. No, sorry. T, t like that. Finally, we have our b small b and our t small t like that. Then here we have our b small b, t, t, b, b, t, t, b, b, t, t. Then all we have to do is carry out the crosses and show their resulting phenotypic ratios and state their phenotype ratios. So phenotype meaning the outward expression. So we are just going to say what traits are these. So we have black color is dominant. So we are going to say black horns and black and long horns. So we have black and long horns, black and long horns. Then we are going to have black and short horns. Which other color? White now is recessive. So we have white and long horns. Then we have our white and short horns, in which case we are going to have black and long horns. We are going to look at a place where we can see at least one big letter B and at least one big letter T. So we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, like that. So we can put 4 because there's no other place where you can see at least one big letter B and at least one big letter T at the same time. Then black and short horns, you're going to go where you see at least one big letter B and 2 small letter T's, like that. So this is what we have. So we are going to put our 4 like that. Then our white and long horns, where you can see at least 2 small letters of B but at least one big letter T. So there we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, like that. So we have 4. Then white and short, so all the small letters. We are going to have number 1, all the small letters, number 2, number 3, number 4, like that. So we are going to have our 4 like that. So the ratio is a 4 to 4 to 4 to 4, which can be reduced if you divide 4 throughout. You're going to have a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. So this type of ratio is found if you are looking at you're combining an heterozygous. If you are combining an heterozygous plus a totally totally recessive, you are going to have a 1 to 1 to 1. So if you have, let's say you have this one where it says that you have an individual is totally heterozygous for 2 genes that are not linked, meaning to say that are not found on the same chromosomes. One gene is for ear size, H, like that, and the other gene is for baggy eyes, like that. Whereas QQ represent normal eyes. If you test cross this individual, you have to fuse it. So remember, this one is heterozygous, so you have to get whatever the letters are. We have H, little h, Q, little q. That's the heterozygous. You have to cross it with a test cross. You always have to get the small letters, like that I have explained in the other video and solved these exact questions. But just in case you don't come across the video, you can at least know how to handle such questions. So the genotype of the one that is heterozygous, you fuse them like that to get this. So after you get this, the test cross is the individual with both letters, like that. Fuse them. After you fuse them, come up with a 16 Punnett square, like that. If you test cross the heterozygous plus the recessive or the test cross, the outcome is always a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, like that, which is similar to that question that we have solved. So as you can see, you can always watch that other video. So as long as they use a test cross individual is the one with both traits that are recessive. Always remember that. So for any question that involves the test cross, that is what you are going to do. So let's just look at the last thing, which is the thing that I promised you. So when we are looking at a lethal gene is a gene that causes death in an organism. So it is a gene that causes death in an organism if mostly present in homozygous recessive state. So this might happen either just after birth or in due time. So for example, if you have this rat, so lethal mutation, so it's a mutation, are genetic mutations that leads to death, whether over a period of time or immediately after the mutation. Now if you look at this is the rat, normal rat, which is AA, without the recessive gene. If you have one recessive gene, it's brown but it's still alive, like that. If you have something like that, but this one is dead because it has got 2 recessive genes present, like that. So that's why we say they have to be 2 recessive, homozygous recessive, meaning to say it has got 2 genes, like that. So that is that for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share for more so that you don't miss out any content. See you in the next tutorial.